The economic freedom fighters use its birthday to drum up support ahead of next year's elections. Opposition parties in Zimbabwe hold their final rallies ahead of Monday's historic general elections. This is eNews at 7 p.m. Good to have you with us, live from Johannesburg this Saturday evening. I'm Gareth Edwards. The EFF has used its 5th birthday celebration to fire up supporters ahead of next year's general elections. Charismatic party leader Julius Malema addressed thousands of red berets in Mdantsane near East London today. He promised the crowd at the Sisa Dukashe Stadium that the party is ready to govern. Reporter Sandy McCowan has the details.
The EFF painted the town red as thousands turned up to join the mother of all parties in Mdantsane to celebrate the Red Berets' big milestone.
I believe in Julius Malema. You know, today is more special today. In 5 years anniversary, I believe in Julius Malema.
Firstly, I want to say happy 5th anniversary to EFF. Free education. Umhlaba wethu mawubuyele kuthi phansi ngabantu abadla imali u-ANC special u-Alfred phansi. Happy birthday EFF, happy birthday.
The EFF may only be 5, but this fledgling party has made a huge impact in a few short years, and they don't intend to stop now.
Release the land, then you shall collapse the high walls and enjoy the beautiful gardens, because no one will come to you who will be busy with our land.
It wouldn't be a birthday bash if friends didn't join in, while frenemies were warned.
Patrice Motsepe is the brother-in-law of Cyril Ramaphosa and Jeff Radebe. They are capturing South Africa. We want to warn Patrice Motsepe, we are watching you the same way we watched the Guptas. Stop doing what you are doing.
A quick toast and a birthday wish.
We are going for a war next year. We are leaving nothing to chance. We are ready to confront the ANC next year. We are ready to defeat the ANC next year.
Before the EFF saw the next 5 years in with a bang. Sandy McCowan, Mdantsane.
Well, while the EFF celebrated, it was a somber day for the ANC in the Western Cape. Party members commemorated some fallen heroes by holding a wreath-laying ceremony in Cape Town. The party says it's using the Nelson Mandela centenary celebrations to pay tribute to those who flew the ANC banner while its leaders were incarcerated. Leanne Jansen has more.
Umkhonto weSizwe operatives Colleen Williams and Robbie Waterwich were killed in a bomb blast here in Cape Town's Athlone suburb on the 23rd of July 1989. 29 years later, a handful of people joined the Western Cape ANC leadership in remembering those who paid with their lives to secure our freedom. For Williams's family, the wounds are still painful.
Very emotional and sad.
Okay. Today is the 29th anniversary of my sister's death, and we're very proud of my sister. And the struggle she fought was for our country. So I feel that youth today stand on shoulders of people like my sister.
ANC leaders say South Africans should once again become agents for change to ensure the country reaches its full potential.
We must become, once again, in the spirit of Robbie and Colleen, activists, all of us, and take action, whether big or small, to truly become a people of greatness as envisaged by Mama Albertina Sisulu, by Tata Madiba.
Long live the undying spirit of Robbie and Colleen, long live!
Leanne Jansen, Cape Town.
Well, let's move to news from north of our borders, and political parties in Zimbabwe have been holding rallies in what is a final attempt to attract votes ahead of Monday's historic elections. It is expected to be a tight two-way fight between the governing ZANU-PF and the movement for democratic change. Let's take you into that country now. Our reporter Pindai Dube is following the story. Pindai, evening to you, joining us live from Zimbabwe. ZANU-PF and MDC both holding their rallies today. What were their final messages to their voters?
Yes, thank you very much, Gareth. What happened, the ZANU-PF held its rally at the National Sports Stadium, which is the biggest stadium in Zimbabwe. And also the MDC held its rally at the Freedom Square, just near the CBD. So what happened? At the ZANU-PF, President Mnangagwa preached the word of peace. He said that he wants to see peaceful elections because he is confident that he will win. He also talked about that there are 20 billion investment which have been promised by foreign investors, and about 850 million has been repatriated back to Zimbabwe. You remember last when he was sworn in, he promised that he's going to repatriate over $1 billion back to Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa also said that the MDC is the one which he was part of those who selected members of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. You know, Gareth, that the MDC is not happy with what the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is doing. So he said that they shouldn't complain, and he also talked about accusing the MDC, saying that they are the ones who are destroying the Harare City Council, you know, on the issue of water. Harare has no water. So he said because the MDC is the one which is currently running Harare, they are to blame. And also Nelson Chamisa talked about the support he is getting from Mugabe. He said that he's getting a lot of support from Mugabe, and members of the National Patriotic Front, a party which has a backing of Mugabe, also attended the rally which was in the city center at Freedom Square. He said he's confident that he is going to win, and he also warned ZANU-PF that they're going to defend their vote.
Pindai, let's end off our conversation this evening briefly and bring me up to speed about security. You mentioned Mnangagwa preaching peace. Tell me about security in Harare this evening. Are we seeing a step up in authorities protecting voters ahead of Monday?
Yes, we can see police here and there, but it's usually the normal the normal police officer we have in the city center, because the situation is just calm, unlike before, where you have just 2 days before the votes, you have the army, the police in the streets. This time it's very calm. It's business as usual. Of course, you see police officers at some corners here and there. But otherwise, the situation is normal. Although Nelson Chamisa has beefed his security, and also Emmerson Mnangagwa. You remember what happened in Bulawayo, where he was a target for a bomb. So the presidential candidates, I can say, they've beefed their security themselves.
All right, from inside the story and from inside Harare this evening, my colleague Pindai Dube live from Zimbabwe, just 2 days away from those historic elections. We'll be getting more updates as we get closer to that election just north of our border. Now, coming up on eNews in a moment, 3 security guards have been injured during one of the latest cash-in-transit heists. We'll bring you more on that violent robbery after the break. Welcome back. Around 24 hours after authorities nabbed a suspected cash-in-transit kingpin, another heist has taken place. An unknown number of suspects blew up a van in Cape Town last night. 3 security guards have been injured during this latest robbery. ER24 spokesperson Russell Mehring said paramedics found what was left of the van in the middle of the road. 3 security officers who had been inside the vehicle were found sitting on the side of the road. They were visibly shaken and had minor injuries. The security officers were taken to the Mediclinic Cape Gate Hospital for treatment. An eyewitness then explains what happened during the heist.
I basically saw a few people. They opened the doors, and basically a few people, they climbed in, They threw the bomb inside and everything exploded, and even our doors, well, our windows exploded.
Well, Gauteng's public hearings on land expropriation have been wrapped up. Today it was the turn of residents of the capital city to enter into the fiery land debate. Most believe land ownership will lift them out of poverty. The majority of those who made submissions support amending the constitution to allow for land expropriation without compensation. Let's now take a listen to some of the diverse views.
We live in squatter camps because there's no land for us to build our own houses. We've got money to build houses. The only thing we do not have is land.
The reason we want land is because we want to work it so that we can be recruited from smoking nyaupe.
We are packed on a small land for the RDPs. The health is not good for ourselves. I'm still repeating that. And we are here to knock the door to the parliament.
It's not necessary to change the constitution. Let us sit around tables and let us discuss the way forward.
The expropriation of property without compensation is just a quick fix for something that is a greater issue that is not yet being remedied by parliament.
But land cannot be taken willy-nilly and arbitrarily. We have to have a plan, and government Congolose, sinike mandate, come up with that plan. Sizonshintsha maningasiniki leyo plan.
Well, the final round of those hearings takes place in the Western Cape next week, and then a final report of oral and written submissions will be handed to Parliament for consideration by the 28th of September. While some just want a plot of land, one man wants to break away from South Africa and establish a new state. The Cape Town man, named Calvin Cornelius, calls himself the king of the Khoi. Well, Khoi groups say their grievances with government are serious, but they're distancing themselves from any calls to secede from South Africa. Lester Kivett has the full story.
He calls himself King Kuhaba Calvin Cornelius III, a self-proclaimed king of the Khoi. Last week, Cornelius served notice on the South African government. He's seceding from the country to create a new state, the sovereign state of Good Hope, which includes the Northern Cape, Western Cape and parts of the Eastern Cape.
The Cape Colony, that is where our people are mostly populated. And as the custodian of my people and the custodian of the land, it is my responsibility to look after them. And government is not doing that. The right to self-determination is not afforded them.
I don't think it should be taken seriously at all.
Historian and cultural activist Patrick Tariq Mallet says Cornelius's claims to royalty and even the right to secede are baseless.
There was only ever one in history, one recorded king or kubuha of the Khoi people. And this was in the Eastern Cape, not over on his claimed family line on the western side of South Africa. And this kubuha was a man by the name of Hinsati. And Hinsati got himself embroiled in a fight between two brothers over the Xhosa throne. He took the losing brother's side. So the Inkwa and the three clans associated with them and the king were incorporated under the Xhosa. So all the descendants today are actually Xhosa of that one and only king.
There's also skepticism from traditional Khoi groups. They've rubbished calls for secession. They say Cornelius is backed by right-wing Afrikaner groups.
We, the Khoi and Bushman leaders, distance ourselves for this call made by Calvin Cornelius for secession. We know that Calvin Cornelius are being advised by the right-wing nationalists who had been responsible for the genocide, poverty, crime, corruption, and atrocities against the Khoi and the Bushman peoples for the last 400 years. We are definitely not the subjects of Calvin Cornelius.
Cornelius denies he has backing from any right-wing movement, but he does say his group has the support of certain Afrikaner groups. He has hopes for a peaceful breakaway from South Africa, but warns he doesn't exclude his group defending itself alongside the Afrikaner partners. The South African government has yet to respond to Cornelius. Lester Kivett, Cape Town.
And a reminder of our top stories this evening, the EFF using its 5th birthday to drum up support ahead of next year's elections. Coming up in a moment, Team Sky's Geraint Thomas is set to claim his maiden Tour de France title after finishing the penultimate stage in first place on the general classifications. And football news, Sundown's hopes of making the knockout phase of the CAF Champions League is given a boost.
Goodness is everywhere. It's the little things you say.
Please and thank you.
It's happening here. So helpful. And here. Oops. And is it the perfect family breakfast? Definitely a moment. Wheat Bix. Find your goodness.
Vaseline Men Extra Strength instantly restores the driest skin, so you can start strong every day.
100 years ago, this is where I began. Unbegotten, I emerged from a single seed, the chrysalis, and I grew, outstretched like wings. My leaves and branches weathered storms and bestowed defenses upon those seeking shelter through the rites of passage. I'm a family tree, the sum total of many, deeply rooted in my commitment to this generation and the next, because family comes first, always. I am the Avbob family tree, 100 years strong. Avbob, we're here for you.
Come on! Pedal! That's what I'm doing! To the left! No, to the right! I can do it! Let me go!
Guys, sandwiches! Sometimes all they need is a break and great tasting sandwiches with Rama, because Rama now contains 9 vitamins and omega-3 that kids need for healthy growth and development.
Shall we try again, Dad?
Okay.
Sweetheart, look! She can do it!
Get them ready with Rama.
Welcome back. The Lions have a daunting task on their hands if they were to win Super Rugby. They'll have to travel all the way to Christchurch to play the Crusaders in the final. Just from earlier today, the Johannesburg side overcame a poor start against the Waratahs at Ellis Park. Apiwa Dianti aiding the comeback, though, with a supreme solo effort. Parker Smith and Malcolm Marks also scoring 2 tries each as the hosts go on to take a 44-26 win. The Crusaders, meanwhile, booking a home final by beating the Hurricanes in their first semi-final. They secured an impressive 30 points to 12 win over in Christchurch. Well, back home now, Mamelodi Sundowns will feel much better about their chances of making the CAF Champions League knockout phase. The Brazilians beat AS Togoport 2-1 in the Group C game at the Lucas Moripe Stadium. It's a vital one, of course, that allows them to climb to second place.
Zwane, Vilagazi. Zwane shrugs off the challenge, finds Sirino. That's one to stay on his feet. Sundowns too out to open the scoring. Mamelodi Sundowns building right from the back. It's Sirino. Topagagalo gets another stunning goal over the top. Sirino. Oh, that's lovely work on the far side. Sirino now looking to turn provider. It's brilliant from Sundowns. Absolutely brilliant. And now it's turned home by Vilagazi. They are ripping Togoport to shreds. Good work. Looks a standing ball over the top there, and then the very fast touch is to pull one back. In off the bench, inspired. Substitution then. And, oh, how's that from Koku?
Well, Geraint Thomas, the Welshman, has all but secured his maiden Tour de France title. The Team Sky rider held onto his overall lead going into the ceremonial final stage. Well, the penultimate stage today was a 31-kilometre individual time trial in the south of France. Tom Dumoulin managed to win that. The Team Sunweb rider narrowly beating last year's winner Chris Froome's time. The yellow jersey holder Thomas was third in that time trial. He now has an overall lead of 1 minute and 51 seconds for the general classification. That should secure the title because generally riders don't compete for positions on the final stage for the general classification unless they are much tighter on overall time. Well, coming up, a detailed weather forecast, and then J-Lo celebrates her 49th birthday in a tropical paradise.
Welcome to the Weather Center. We are going to start off Sunday with a few fog patches over parts of Limpopo and Mpumalanga and the eastern areas of KwaZulu-Natal. Over the western sections, it's going to be cloudy with a few fog patches as well in the morning for the western areas of the northern and western Cape, where we could see light rain and drizzle around the Cape Peninsula and the southwest coastline. The light rain and drizzle spreads into the south coast during the course of the morning. Then in the afternoon, it's going to be mostly sunny for the bulk of South Africa with warmer daytime temperatures for the eastern and southeastern sections. A cooler afternoon is forecast, however, for the western sections. Then in the evening, we should see a few cloud patches creeping into the southern Cape areas. Now we are going to see mostly sunny skies with a bit of high-level cloud across much of the northern Cape on Sunday. Mild to warm for the eastern areas, but much cooler for the western sections. Mostly cloudy skies are forecast for the western Cape, where it's going to be cool to mild in the afternoon. A small chance of morning drizzle for the southwest coastline. There will be light rain over parts of the south coast, including around George. Partly cloud and dry conditions are forecast for Port Elizabeth, Port Alfred and East London, where a high of 24 is expected. The rest of the eastern Cape should be mostly sunny with highs in the lower to mid-20s. Mostly sunny and warm weather is forecast for KwaZulu-Natal, where Port Shepstone and Durban should warm to around 26 degrees. Clear skies are forecast across the Mpumalanga province, highs in the lower 20s for the Highveld, but much warmer as we go towards Mbombela and Skukuza. It's also going to be mostly sunny for much of Limpopo, Polokwane, reaching a high of 24 degrees. Sunny and pleasantly warm weather is forecast across the northwest, where highs in the mid-20s are forecast in most areas. We could see a bit of cloud overhead for parts of the Free State, Bloemfontein and Forest Smith, peaking at around 23 degrees. We are also expecting a bit of cloud for the southern areas of Gauteng, Johannesburg and Soweto, warming to 22 on Sunday afternoon. Now on Monday, we are going to see mostly sunny skies for the bulk of the country. Light rain, however, for Durban and Richards Bay. Then on Tuesday, light rain is expected for Cape Town. It's going to be mostly sunny for the rest of the country.
Looks like summer might finally be on the way. Well, anniversaries and lavish birthday parties, it seems just another week really in the life of celebrities. Lindiwe Satole brings us the latest entertainment news.
Denzel Washington has been with his wife for 35 years. The pair recently celebrated their anniversary. So when asked how they keep the fire burning, Denzel simply answered, "I do what I'm told, I keep my mouth shut." The week also took on a sad note when former Disney star and musician Demi Lovato was rushed to hospital after she collapsed. Paramedics found her unconscious at her LA home and gave her an overdose reversal drug. After suspecting that she may have overdosed on heroin, Demi's publicist says the singer is stable and very grateful to be alive. J-Lo just turned 49 years old and she's still looking as young as ever. Just take a look at these pictures she took with her family and friends. They spent the occasion in the Bahamas. Jenny from the blog took to Instagram to thank her friends and fans for all the birthday wishes, adding that she feels #blessed.
Oh, just before we say goodbye, a reminder of our top stories for you this evening. The EFF uses its birthday to drum up support ahead of next year's elections. From me and the entire team, thank you for watching. Good night.